The evolution of the El Camino itself is the story of how one of America's most iconic cars has changed with the times. It was the car with which you boldly walked around the city center, but also the car with which you did your chores on the farm or in the fields. Let's explore the evolution of El Camino over the years. The idea of the development of El Camino came from the success of the Ford Ranchero, a coupé utility vehicle that was launched in 1957. Legend has it that in the 1930s, the wife of an Australian farmer sent a letter to Ford to produce a vehicle to drive to church on Sunday, by which to transport goods to the market on Monday. Thus, Chevrolet wanted to compete with Ford in this niche and created the El Camino, which became much more popular. The first generation El Camino started in 1959 and was presented as the handiest helper a family ever had. The body was Bel Air style, with pointed tails, and was built on the modified Brookwood station wagon platform. Under the hood, the El Camino was available in a 235 CID 3.9-liter inline-six, 283 CID 4.6-liter turbofire V8, or a 348 CID 5.7-liter turbo thrust V8 engine. After only 1 year of life, El Camino received a facelift, which made it smaller and simpler with some design changes. But this time, people's reaction to this model was not so positive. Only 14,000 units were sold, thus the production of El Camino stopped immediately. After 4 years, El Camino got a new chance with a second generation. This time, Chevrolet had a different approach. It wanted the new El Camino to be more of a utility vehicle and less of a bold sedan. So, they changed the body style to a more compact and sober one and installed not-so-powerful engines under the hood. Initially, the engine range included 2 inline 6-cylinder engines with a displacement of 3.2 and 3.8 liters and 2 V8 versions with a displacement of 4.6 liters. Later, a 250-horsepower small-block 5.4-liter V8 was added. The following years, El Camino received a facelift that brought changes to the radiator grille, the hood, but also the bumper that offers a V-shaped front aspect. The back was also slightly modified, as well as the interior. The changes were also brought under the hood, where a more powerful version of the 5.4-liter V8 engine with 350 horsepower was added. In 1966, El Camino again received a refresh of the exterior but also of the interior. It also added a more powerful engine, a 6.5-liter V8 with between 325 and 375 horsepower. A new revision was brought to the El Camino in 1967, where the grille, front bumper, and fenders were restyled. The interior remained approximately the same, but some improvements were made under the hood. For the third generation, Chevrolet reversed the utility of the El Camino. This time, they made it first a muscle car, then a utility vehicle. The new El Camino grew in size, had a more muscular body, quad-stacked headlights connected by a chrome bar, and a revamped interior. The third generation El Camino offered a wide range of engines and transmissions, from a 140-horsepower 3.8-liter inline-six to a 450-horsepower 7.4-liter V8. This generation El Camino proved that it is ready for the sports car market. In 1969, the El Camino received small exterior and interior design changes, and under the hood, it introduced a 5.7-liter V8 for the first time. The major changes came the following year, when the exterior was squarer with redesigned headlights in the body this time. Under the hood was installed a 6.6-liter V8, but also a 7.4-liter V8 that produced up to 450 horsepower. In 1971, El Camino received a new face, with simple round headlights and a new slightly conical grille. At the same time, it was the year in which performance engines such as the LS6 454 7.4-liter V8 disappeared completely due to regulations that required stricter emission standards. The 1972 model presented minor changes, the most obvious being brought to the signaling unit and the front grille. And this model suffered lower performances, as for example the V8 engines of the 1972 El Camino could only reach 270 horsepower. However, the third generation El Camino was the best seller until then, with almost 250,000 vehicles. The fourth generation El Camino was launched in 1973, being the largest until then. The body style featured prominent curves with a flat front and headlights positioned higher above the grille. The interior looked much better with reinforced door impact beams, thin windshield pillars, a 2-panel acoustic roof, or frameless door windows. The fourth generation El Camino offered a narrower range of engines and transmissions, from a 100 horsepower 4.1-liter inline-six to a 245 horsepower 7.4-liter V8. In 1974, El Camino received a new, longer front grille but also a classic luxury version. Under the hood, this model was the first to offer the 350 CID 5.7-liter V8 as a base engine. A further update to the El Camino's chassis and face came in 1975. Also, dual remote mirrors, intermittent wipers, and cruise control were introduced as convenience features. A 105 horsepower, 250 cubic inch inline-six was offered as the base engine. For the 1976 model, the El Camino Classic came with new, rectangular headlights with two stackers. In addition, a new engine option was introduced, a 305 cubic inch V8 with 140 horsepower. The last generation of El Camino made it smaller, more elegant, sharper, and more modern, and for the first time it was built on a unique chassis. For the first time, a V6 was installed under the hood of an El Camino. Thus, the base engine was a 3.3-liter V6 with 95 horsepower. The following changes continued in 1980, when it again received a new radiator grille and a new 3.8-liter V6 engine and an option 5-liter V8. The following year came with other changes in the grid area, but also in the interior. In 1982, Chevy returned to the quad headlight design, which was retained until the end of production in 1987. Also, a diesel engine, the 105 horsepower 5.7-liter V8 diesel, was installed in the El Camino for the first time, given in 1982. El Camino sales subsequently dropped considerably with the introduction of Chevy's S10 pickup truck. Thus, the year 1987 marked the end of one of the most memorable cars in history. And today, after more than 60 years, Chevrolet El Camino still remains in the hearts of fans all over the world. If you also like the story of the brave El Camino, leave a comment below and like and subscribe for more videos.